Hello, stars. My name is Blue, and today we're lost in Hiveswap Friendsim. Last time we left off, we dealt with Miss Mars over here, who is a very stoic but caring character. And today we were going with baby Karako today. I'm gonna call him Kar because I don't feel like saying Karako over and over again. Look at him. He's so cute. Okay, into it. Having learned the dangers of using the public thoroughfares, you've taken to dodging down byways and sulking in rear areas, trying to spy out individuals who look ripe for friendship, while avoiding the more criminally insane denizens. Just now, you're following a winding footpath through the undergrowth surrounding a neighborhood where the local hives are spaced far apart. You came creeping along this footpath for safety. You should have known better. The undergrowth here is like most of the other life forms on Alternia, evolved to ruthlessly purge the gene pool of the weak and the reasonable. Coiled, spring-loaded stalks with foot-long thorns flank withering bushes with razor-edged leaves, which in turn crowd tentacled flora with tooth lobes oozing liquid that hissed and smoked when it touches the ground. Extreme caution is needed, just as it's needed in every circumstance on this planet. While your time on Alternia has gotten you accustomed to injuries, you still shrink from being impaled on sprung thorns and dissolved into acid. You should have known that eventually you would have come up against the local flora, so you proceeded discreetly, avoiding poisonous fawns and trying not to step on triggered roots. But suddenly, your vegetative focus is interrupted. You hear footsteps on the path, and then, around the corner, comes a small figure. Its face and horns are painted with a smudge black and white marks. Hang on. It seems like no matter how much I turn this down for me, it's still blaring. Okay. With smudge black and white marks, despite its diminutive nature, physique. Where did I... It has some of the most impressive horns you've seen on any troll. Oh, they're black and white. Did he paint his horns too? That's cute. Oh, okay. Then the small figure sees you too, and is so startled it jumps a foot, impaling its horns in an overhanging tree branch and sticking there so that its small legs pump helplessly in the air. Did my game freeze? Honk! You beg the small person's pardon and assure him that you were fully as startled as he. You go on to explain that you're not dangerous, but even if you were, you would not want to come in strife with even a... Whoa, what? Excuse me? I have no idea what just happened there. You go on to explain that you're not dangerous, but that even if you were, you would not want to come to strife with even a small person with horns of that size. Honk? Yes, you'll be happy to help him down as long as he promises not to attack you with the many-bladed weapons that are stuffed into his belt, or with the dozen cans of inexpensive soft drinks held on a band crossing his chest. It strikes you suddenly that a neighborly gesture, like helping someone whose horns are stuck in a tree branch, can scarcely fail to kindle the light of friendship. You dare to hope that this will be the case now. Edging forward, you get close enough to see that around the small clown's neck hangs a dog tag or ID necklace. You tilt your head and crane your neck to read the writing on it. Karako Pirat. If lost, call Brunya. Brunya? Brunya! Bronya, not Brenya. I'm thinking of Skyrim and Brynjolf. It's Bronya. Suddenly, this all makes sense. This Karako must have been one of Bronya's reject runt regulars who, having grown to childhood under her tender care, has gone out into the world to seek his fortune. That would account for his small size, short legs, and small stature relative to his horns. You eagerly pull out your palm husk, happy for an excuse to pester your old friend, but you got zero signal here. You wonder if the surrounding vegetation eats palm husk signals. Just as it looks like it eats everything else, you disappointingly slip your palm husk back into your pocket. Honk. You apologize for the delay, explaining that you were surprised to find that you appear to have an acquaintance in common, whom you hope you will have time to discuss later. For now, you're ready, willing, and hopefully able to help him down. You hope he won't be offended if you slip behind him first. It's not that you object to bladed weapons or those who stuff dozens of them into their belts, but you feel that the ones he's wearing could ruin your look if buried in your torso. However, unintentionally. You edge past the weapons, being careful also not to touch the spring thorns growing at the edge of a path or their trigger roots. Once you're behind Car, you grasp his horns firmly and pull, withdrawing them from the tree branch, allowing him to drop lightly to the ground. Honk! Is that all he says? He's fucking adorable. You tell him he's very welcome. Then there's a moment of awkward silence as you try to think of something else to say. Unfortunately, your new potential friend is not as devoid of social graces as you are and gets the conversational ball rolling himself. Honk? You explain that you are indeed a stranger in these parts and that you actually don't fit into any of the hemospectrum categories. Wild, right? Although you're not quite as strange as you used to be, you'd like to think. You're really starting to blend in with the local color. Honk. Well, you'd rather not exhibit your blood just now. You're a couple of quarts low due to robust conditions of Alternian life, some of which you have recently had the honor of encountering. Honk. You sympathize, slinking along these hidden paths in Alternian woods can be tough on the morale. The smell alone is enough to make a strong man weep, and the vegetation looks like it was designed by Marcus de Sade. Not that he knows who Marcus de Sade is. You can't help but feel that it would probably be so much better if one only had a skulk buddy. You continue. How wonderful it would be to travel those dusky lanes with a kindred spirit, a twin soul, a fellow traveler, an intimate crony. You're such an expert on French synonyms by now. Goddamn. Honk? No, you haven't met anyone like that either, but you certainly would like to. Your potential new friend is obviously thinking seriously about the issue, so you back off, give him some space. You pretend to be deeply immersed in studying one of the razor-sharp leaves on one of the writhing bushes beside the path. You aren't one to focus on you aren't one to focus yourself on others or try to unduly influence their friendship decisions. Okay, well, maybe you forced yourself on others in the past and tried to influence their friendship decisions. Maybe you've done this a lot, but you're a recently evolved person. You know now that friendship is something that has to come authentically from within. Friendship is spontaneous. Real friendship sprouts naturally from the soil of mutual respect. The best friendships grow and ripen over years and are not rushed or forced. Of course, you've only known this small person for about 5 minutes, but you have to start ripening sometime. You're reflecting thus on the theme of friendship when a loud pours suddenly from the sky above you. I don't even know how to go about making that sound, so I'm sorry. It's a crackling, sizzling sound. Like the chitinous thing with too many legs struggling on a hot frying pan. Cars jump so violently that he nearly gets his horn stuck in the tree again. Looking up, you see a floating metal object, vaguely troll-shaped, but huge, faceless metal with numerous sets of lightning bolt-shaped horns coming out of its head and neck. It's also not a very sparking conversationalist. It marks in a flat, echoing blare. Noise, it elaborates further. Honk! Save. Goddamn. Leap to your proto-friend's aid. You leap to your proto-friend's aid. Thinking quickly, you push Car against a large rock that juts out the undergrowth nearby and jump in front of him, shielding him from the drone with your body. Then pretend to be leaning against the rock in an attitude of tranquil response. Several of the bladed weapons in Car's belt poke you in the ass, but you don't really let this show on your face. Instead, you yawn elaborately and check your wristwatch. You don't have a wristwatch, but you don't think the drones know what a wristwatch is anyways. Goddamn. You pretend to smoke a non-existent cigarette. Again, you're not giving anything away, because drones don't know what cigarettes are either. But this drone is apparently taking an interest in you. It floats down between the trees and undergrowth, and it hovers above the path several meters from where you are, pretending to relax against a rock. After a long day of hiking through scenic shit-smell forest. It's quite a terrifying sight, actually. Noise. The drone absorbs soullessly, making Car jump so that several of your internal organs are threatened. However, you maintain what you believe a local populace would call a stiff upper whistle pillow. What? The drone's blank metal head studies you, or it could be studying something in the opposite direction, or even taking the drone equivalent of a piss. You can't really tell from its expression because it has no features to make expressions with. This examination, or non-examination, continues for some time. Oh god. But your diminutive potential friend is well hidden from view, and after a while, evidently concluding that you are an inanimate object that makes unaccountable gestures with its wrists and fingers, the drone floats upwards again, gaining speed until, with a dreary noise, it whizzes off somewhere to find other hapless, non-standard citizens to euthanize. When it's gone, you stand away from the rock and rub several sore places that have been pierced by bladed weapons. You turn to Car to comment on the recent fever, but stop when you see the look. When you see the look he is directing at you, a warm and admiring look, an affectionate and esteeming look, a look of friendship. Your first impulse is to throw your arms around him and lean in, but on second thought, remembering his pants arsenal, you put your hand for a warm handshake. Victory is so close. But before you can seal the deal with the sweet friendship transaction, you hear a disturbance further down the path. God, can't the narrative chill for one single moment, especially when you're about to consummate a beautiful friendship? You turn to look. The footsteps, several steps of them, get nearer, and around the bend come three figures. Three figures wearing swimming outfits, lots of gold jewelry, and word that my brain refuses to sound out right now. I guess word expressions. Don't try to guess word meanings when you don't really know the word blue. Three figures with gills in their neck and small stylized fins on their face. Oh man, is it possible that you finally happen upon a group of legendary sea dwellers? They stop short when they see you in car, obviously startled. They study you. You study them. The fin-head interloper 1 is in a one-piece and diamond earrings, whispers to her companions, and all three burst out laughing. Fin-head interloper 2 in a violet wetsuit, rings slapped her thigh, and fin interloper 3 in checkered swimming trunks holds his sides. Part of you is relieved. Laughter drives out the devil, and is the best medicine, and in any event is better than homicidal-mania. On the other hand, this laughter isn't friendly. It's cold, mocking. Superlicious. These sea dwellers are obviously laughing at you, not with you. You notice Car's cheeks flush purple under his painted face, his jaw clenching. However, he just stares with stony dignity at the interlopers. This makes them laugh harder. The first sea dweller says, "What are you two supposed to be? Shrimp Cassidy and Squamious Kid?" I don't know. Man. Her second companion says. A cool bait minnow and his mutated soft-shell crab. That says her third. Looks like the minimal went down on the clown, causing it to spurt out the other one. I'm getting tangled up in cords. The sea dweller's laughter is redoubled. You continue expressionless at these insults, but to your dismay, Car's face is taking on a harsh, glowering look. You guess such a tiny dude has probably been victimized by bullies his whole life, and as you happen to know, there are no bullies like Alternian bullies. Honk. You tell him not to let them talk all the shit they... You tell them to let them talk all the shit they want. Don't let them provoke him. They're trying to get him to do something stupid. If he doesn't react, they'll get bored and go away. Honk! No. Remember that drone? It's probably still out there somewhere. Touch a scale on their heads and you could be rendered into Mother Grub feedstock. Hey, bottom feeders, no whispering when you're in the presence of your bathers. You, little buoy, put on a respectful expression on your recognition surface. It's a fucking face! Be more like your friend, the slender manatee over there. In fact, why is it you two are still perpendicular? Why words? Why use these words? In the presence of sea dwellers, you should... Still standing? Can't you just say standing? You should be bowed at right anglers. The first sea dweller seems to have an affinity for cheesy ocean puns. They all do. They all do, MC. You bow to the sea dwellers. You have your dignity, but you also like not getting killed. Oh no. Karkaro remains stubbornly upward, his face getting angrier and purpler by the moment. The bladed weapons at his belt jingle from his enraged trembling. Oh, see the little clownfish? He's getting angry. Just... Why can't Seed... Like, trolls already don't talk normal. But why can't sea dwellers talk normal? Like, normal troll speak would be wonderful. Not all the fishy ocean puns, please. Looks like he's gonna shit his pants. What did I tell you about your face, boy? Didn't your Lucis teach you anything? I doubt he even has a Lucis. A self-respecting Lucis would never let a shrimp like that out of the hive. Unless his Lucis is just as defective. Oh god, no! Car! The Lucis cracks are too much for Karkaro. Karkaro? Really? Karako. Ignoring your hissed warnings, he suddenly leaps snarling into air, draws bladed weapons from his belt in each hand and hurtles towards the sea dwellers. Oh my god, moving text. This is the first time. Honk honk! Grab him by the coattails and try to keep him from precipitating a disaster. You leap forward and grab Car by the coattails or by his belt. You weren't actually sure what a coattail is. Really? Jesus, he's strong. You can barely hold him. It's like trying to restrain a small truck. His legs rotate wildly, kicking up a cloud of dust, and he brandishes his bladed weapons wildly in the direction of sea dwellers. After a startled moment in which they jump backwards, the sea dwellers start to laugh again, coming up with more stupid insults and fish puns. This is not helping. Karako runs twice as hard, honks twice as loud, shakes his weapons twice as threateningly. Hey, 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 you shout at Carl, challenging to be heard above the frantics. Holding on with all your might and digging in your heels. You have half the mind to let him go, to pay the sea dwellers back for their insults, but you try to keep a cool head. You're doing your proto-friend much more good trying to restrain his wrath. You've now succeeded in wrapping your arms all the way around him, and now you get in front of him, holding him back with straightened arms, bellowing smoothly into his face, and trying to avoid the bladed weapons he is brandishing. But it's not working. You can see from the contorted features and bare teeth, the distended nostrils with smoke coming out, the blazing eyes, that Karako is getting more and more enraged. And suddenly his rage seems to reach a kindling pout. His body vibrates violently, his eyes grow huge and round. And suddenly from his body, something like a nuclear blast pressure wave of fear and violence sends you flying through the air like scrap of a particular gal. What the fuck? Are you hallucinating? But you can see as you soar up above the path that the sea dwellers aren't laughing anymore. In fact, they're screaming in terror and fleeing wildly, blundering into the razor leaves, being impaled by spring thorns and burned by pod acid, and generally receiving a stern retribution that awaits assholes. Then your head collides with a tree branch and you're rendered unable to narrate for a while. You wake up lying in the dust. As consciousness returns, you realize that you're lying on a path. As it returns further, that a small clown-painted figure is seated next to you, quite calm now. He smiles fondly as he sees you sit up. Honk! You smile in return, your expression relief that he realizes you were acting in his best intentions, holding him back from the fin heads. And now, though largely because of his unexpected burst of Clown Sorcery or whatever that was, everything has turned out for the best. Carr holds up his arms for a hug, but then remembering the bladed weapons in his belt, sticks his hand out. You shake it warmly. He's so cute! I love him. He's pure. And we didn't mess up. Surprisingly. We mess up usually about once. I love small, angry, honking boy, okay? That was actually a pretty quick episode. I'm surprised. Well, I guess that's it for today's stories. If you liked the video, please give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already to join our wonderful galaxy. Comment down below and I'll get back to you some way or another. And I will see you on our next adventure. Remember, we're all made of the same cosmic dust, so be nice. Kate, love you. Bye!